Hey folks, Ray Barton, RayTheRealEstateGuy.com. I'm a realtor associate at Coldwell Banker Flanagan Realty right here in Manchester, New Jersey. We have offices in Manchester, Toms River, and Bayville, and our agents are standing by to help you. My phone number, personal number, is 908-309-2222, and I'm always interested in talking to you about real estate and, for that matter, anything you want to talk about. I love meeting people and I love being with people. So feel free to give me a call. Tonight, hopefully, some more good information. We're going to talk a little bit about first-time home buyers, what to expect, the challenges that you might face, and things that you need to be considering as you look at your first home. And then on the other end of the spectrum, as you choose an adult community, I've got some ideas for you to maybe consider before you just jump right in. So having said that, let's talk about first-time home buying. The key to getting anywhere in this idea of buying your first home is to do a little bit of homework. It's not an easy situation, and don't feel bad. Everyone goes through it. Anyone who's trying to buy their first home will feel somewhat overwhelmed with all the information and things that you need to do. So let's start thinking about it, and let's start putting into effect some of the ideas and things that you might want to do in order to make your home buying experience a little bit more streamlined and a lot more fun. First thing is just start shopping. I mean, the idea of trying to figure out what you want, where you want, and how much you can spend are part of just starting to shop. Start looking around. Look at all the websites and understand that there are a number of homes out there, but don't rely on what you see necessarily, because not all the homes that are on the websites are available. They may have been available at the time they were posted, and they may be available now, but you need to kind of figure that out. And so the best way to do that is to find a good agent like myself, humble as I am, and start working with them. Have that person help you find that dream home. They should be asking you some questions, and some of those questions may include, what size house, how many bedrooms, where do you want to live, what are your expectations for you and your family, how long do you expect to stay here, and a number of other questions that will help that person get to know you more and get you to understand much more about what you're looking for. Then, once you've done that, before you really go out and earnestly find that home, it's very, very important for you to choose a lender. Now, as a real estate person, I can often provide you a list of people who provide those loan services, and we have a number of them that we work with right here at Coldwell Banker that I think would be advantageous for your hunt. But find your lender. Make sure that person is compatible with you and understands what your needs are. Be transparent, because he will do everything he can to help you secure a loan and be able to help you pick the right loan. It's not enough just to get a loan. You have to get the right loan, one that's going to fit you and your family for not only now, but possibly up to 30 years from now. So you want to make sure that you're doing your homework, and he's explaining to you all the options so you understand them. Once you have that information and he has given you what they call a pre-qualification, you'll know exactly what you can spend, or pretty close to it. You may be able to go a little bit higher, you may have to go a little bit lower, but you'll have a good idea. And if you share that with the agent, that will help him or her get bargaining power at the time that you start to make an offer. So get that piece of paper, get the pre-qualification, get a relationship with your loan officer, banker, whoever you're getting your mortgage from, so that you can go to them with questions and get answers, so that we as a team can help you find your next dream home. The next thing to do is to go to showings. Go look around. There are a number of ways to look nowadays. There's virtual home showings, there's in-person home showings, and the old tried and true, let's make an appointment and go look. And what you want to do is help your agent narrow down. You can be looking at hundreds of homes if they're available, and You might be able to find the right one on the first try. It may take you 25 tries. I just went recently with a couple. We probably looked at 40 houses, made 3 offers. And in this market, it's a little bit more difficult because there just isn't enough inventory out there for you to pick and choose. But you can find your right home if you know exactly what you're looking for. And you're in control. Don't let the agent push you into a house. You make the decision. It's where you're going to live, and you need to be happy about that. The next thing to do is to talk to your agent once you've found that home to make an offer. Now, making an offer is pretty simple. There's a whole bunch of contract work and legal paperwork that have to be filled out, but we'll make the offer, we'll give earnest money, and we'll explain to the seller exactly what your intention is. You're going to pay X amount of dollars, you're going to put so much money down, you're going to secure a mortgage within a certain period of time. Whatever it takes will be laid out in the contract. Let me just say to you that the easiest way to make a deal is for both sides to understand what that deal is. Success is not necessarily you buying the house. Success is meeting agreed upon requirements. So the more we can get those requirements agreed to, and the more that we can spell out exactly what our intentions are, the better chance you have of a seller saying, okay, I'm on board with that. Here's some modifications and changes that I might want to make. And once we've agreed to that, then everything starts to get to the negotiation point. Now, nowadays, with inventory so low, it's not unusual to find that you have to pay more than the listing or asking price of a home. So be prepared for that and understand that that may create issues with appraisals. We don't know sometimes that, if the house comes in under appraised because you wanted to pay $250, but the bank only feels it's worth $225. We need to understand how you're going to cover that difference, or whether the bank will even allow the mortgage loan to go forward. So there are some things that have to happen. We have to make sure that we've come to terms with a mortgage, we've come to terms with a negotiation. And importantly, what we find in our area, and this isn't true across the country, it's good to use an attorney. And the attorney will review all the paperwork, make sure it's in proper order. And once it comes out of attorney review, then the next steps are very important. One thing that every attorney will recommend, and probably every reputable real estate person that you work with will certainly somewhat insist, if you will, is that you get a house inspection. And home inspections can be terrifying. You're going to pay someone to come in. They independently take a look at it. We'll give you a list of people, but we don't recommend anyone. That's up to you to pick and choose. Do your homework. Talk to a number of people. Find out the price. Find out how they do the inspection. Find out what kind of information they will provide at the end of the inspection, so that you have a good understanding of what the home is really all about. On the outside, it could be really looking real good, but recently we had a home where we entered the house. It didn't look too bad, needed a little paint, a little tender loving care, but when we got down underneath into the crawl space, we found that there was floor joists that were rotted and a number of things that would have caused structural issues that had to be engineered and replaced. So, at the end of the day, you want to have a good home inspection so you know what you're buying. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to fix everything or the seller's going to fix everything. It's going to give you a good look at what's there so you can make some conscious decisions as to whether or not you want to move forward, or you'll move forward if certain things are fixed, or you're going to fix them later on yourself. Sometimes the home inspector will put things down like the switch plate or the plug cover is cracked. That's probably not a big showstopper. Might be a 50-cent item at the local store and 10 minutes to replace. He will tell you need an electrician to do that. Legally, technically, he probably is correct. As a homeowner, I've probably changed 100 of them. So, you have to kind of review that list and make a decision as to whether that information was provided is really important or really a showstopper in moving forward. And if it is, that's where the attorney can help, and we can withdraw from the offer and move forward, or, as I like to say, negotiate. So once you've got that, and the mortgage company now is ready to move forward to do the appraisal, you've satisfied the negotiation, you understand what you're buying, you're all pleased with the contracts, everything's in place. Now it's time for the mortgage company to send in their people and provide for that home appraisal. And it's important that that appraisal, the house gets looked at and the appraisal gets approved. We want to make sure that we're getting as much as we can. And just as important as it is to be ready for a homeowner to sell the property, for you to buy the property that looks good, we want to make sure that the appraiser is seeing what you're seeing and more. We want to make sure that he's pleased. The grass is cut, the house looks in good shape, the neighborhood's fine. All things that go into a good appraisal, he's going to look at, and then he's going to move forward with the idea that there's enough value in the home to move the mortgage down the road and get you to the place of being able to close the deal. Once that's all approved and you get a good to close kind of notion from the bank, the attorneys will set up a closing date for you. In most cases, and you'll agree that the title company or the attorney will close the deal. Now, what does that mean? That means that you're going to get title for the house, that the deed is clear, title is clear, that the deed is properly done, and that you're going to now own the house and, frankly, own the mortgage. So he's going to make sure that everything is correct, that the paperwork is done properly, and that you are, in fact, ready to close. And that's when you go. Now, at that point, you may be required to bring in some documents. You may be required to bring in a check for additional deposits. There may be a number of things, but you'll get notified that before the closing. And when you're there, hopefully, all you have to do is sign your papers, commit to the mortgage, provide all the documentation and final monies, and you'll walk away with a set of keys, and we can all celebrate. So now, this process can take 35 to 45 days just to get the mortgage. It could take another 30 days to find the house. I mean, so this isn't a quick, let's go do something. This is a major purchase in your life, and we want to make sure that we're doing it right. And the best way to do that is to work with an agent who's got experience and who has your interest at hand. So again, if you need anything and you're a first-time home buyer, there's a number of programs, a lot of advice out there for you to research and look at. I certainly have a myriad of ideas and things that I can help you with. Feel free to call me, Ray Barton, 908-309-2222, and I'd be glad to help you any way I can. So the next thing we want to talk about is on the other side of the spectrum. You're getting ready to retire. You're looking for maybe your final purchase. You're looking for a home in an adult community, an active adult community. And, there are some things that you should be considering. One of them is location. Where do you want to retire to? And we oftentimes see people come down and move to the Jersey Shore into one of the retirement areas, and we find that they're still traveling an hour and a half north to their doctor every week. And they haven't really searched the location. And sometimes they find that the stores aren't as convenient, or maybe they're not as familiar with the area and they feel kind of like a fish out of water. It's good to search the location. Find not only the home, but the area. Make sure you're comfortable with it. And, a good agent can help guide you with that. We can show you around. We can certainly talk to you about what we find in the area and, what are the amenities, where are the golf courses, where are the hospitals, where are the tennis rackets stored. I mean, there's a number of things that we can talk to you about, and we can hopefully find you that right place for you to retire and in an active adult community. And so along with that, it would help the agent to know a lot more about what your goals are. Knowing that you just want to retire and live within four walls and watch TV and read a book is a lot different than someone who says, I go horseback riding every week, and that's very important to me. Or I really like to go fishing, and how do I go to the Jersey Shore and fish on a regular basis? Or whatever it may be. Maybe you're moving down into this area because of a specialty doctor or a hospital, or maybe you have relatives in the area that you need to be close by and want to be here. Whatever your goals are, your aspirations are, your needs are, the more that you can be transparent about that, the better we can help you and guide you to places that we know that will satisfy those goals. And then the other thing is about lifestyle. If you're moving into a golf community, for example, and you don't play golf and you never intend to play golf, you may be paying for things that you don't need. I mean, the golf course is pretty. You may want to look at that. That may be one of your goals is to live on a golf course. Maybe because your grandkids play and you want them to come down and watch them. But, at the end of the day, you need to really assess your lifestyle. Do you need a two-story house anymore, or do you really want a two-story house? Do you want to go up and down stairs? Is it important for you to have a kitchen with a center island? I mean, whatever it takes. You do a lot of entertaining and you want a large dining area. I mean, sometimes those things are available, but they're available in only certain active adult communities. So you need to let us know what you're looking for, and we're absolutely glad to help you do that. Now, with many of these active adult communities, there are restrictions. How long a person can stay and visit with you, where you can park. There's a typical homeowner association kind of rules, and then maybe a little bit more. You have to be a certain age, 50 years old and older, 55 and older, 62 and older. You may be able to buy the house at 40, but not be able to move until you're 55. I mean, there's a number of restrictions that are set up in the deeds and in the management documents of these associations, and we need to understand what they are. And for that reason, we want to talk to you about them so you understand that you're not moving in and wanting to put a hot tub in the backyard and find out that you can't do that. Or maybe you've got 3 cars and one of the cars are always going to be parked on the street and you're not allowed to do that. So there are some restrictions in some of these communities. Homeowner associations kind of rule the roost on those types of things, but there are some deed restrictions that you may need to understand, and we can certainly guide you and help you with that. The other thing that you may want to consider is tax and financial considerations. Are you eligible for tax benefits? I mean, there are some towns that offer VA benefits or retirement benefits where they freeze the taxes. Some towns don't. There are some communities that give disabilities a little bit of a break. And you may want to understand how often the taxes rise in that area and what are the caps on the taxes for some of these communities. You don't want to move in and figure that your taxes are $2,500 a year and find out in 4 years that they're $6,000 a year and you can't afford them. So we need to understand what your financial conditions are, what your concerns are, and understand, how some of the tax implications may affect you. We're not tax accountants. We're just average guys and gals who live with this stuff, and we certainly can help guide you and get you to the right people and maybe help you with some of that financial expertise. As a senior and as a senior real estate specialist, we understand some of these needs, and we certainly have a team of people that we can get you to, and they can help you get to the right decision when it gets time for you to move into an active adult community. I mean, one of the last things we want to do is find out that we've sold you a piece of property and it's going to be your forever home and you're not satisfied. We want you happy. I certainly want to look you in the eyes from now until doomsday and figure out that, hey, I helped you get into a house that you absolutely love it and you're pleased with it. Certainly helps me with referrals, but more than that, I'm just would be not happy to find out that I created an issue or a problem for you just because you wanted to buy a house. So take a deep breath, go slow. We'll help you through, guide you with a bunch of questions and get you the answers. And I'm sure that you'll have a lot more questions as time goes on. Find the right place, find the community you want to live in, and we're here to help. So again, my name is Ray Barton. I can be reached on my cell phone at 908-309-2222, and I'm here to help you. I work for Coldwell Banker Flanagan Realty. I'm right here in Manchester, New Jersey, in an area where there is a myriad of new home buyers and an absolute myriad of adult communities that we can go look at and see and everything in between. So if you need anything or want anything, give me a call, 908-309-2222. And until next week, 7 o'clock